right, guys, what an exciting video I have for you today. Today's video, we're going to review two different products. One being a sight, one being the bow that I'm choosing to shoot for 2025. All right, so the first product we're going to talk about is a new sight from Axcel called the Driver. Now, the Driver is a reduced weight. This particular one has the hunting scope on it, which is 3 pins. And I'm going to go over a few different features that I've found to be very intriguing, and I think make this a very solid option for anybody that's in the market for, I guess, a higher end costing bow sight. The first thing on this scope is, you notice it's got a rheostat that's attached to it. It does a good job of shading your fibers from whatever direction the sun's coming from to dull them down a little bit to reduce your star bursts. Still on the scope housing, we've got a micro adjust pin, so I'll bring this up here to you. Maybe you can see it, but if you look, you got your standard Allen key fastener for each of your pins, but as you loosen it up, you have a micro adjust knob down here, so you can move them individually at as small increments as you want. You can loosen them all up and move them in a gang adjustment. I thought that was very neat. You have a macro adjustment for your sight housing, and then you have your micro tuning adjustment, left and right knob, which is a positive click. Very nice also. So your pin indicators. So I had this bow that I've been shooting that I purchased this year for 2025. It had a lot different pin indicators on them. They were actually very flimsy metal that screwed directly onto a flat surface. So as you tighten them down, the pin indicators would move. I like the way Axcel does these. They're built into a groove. So as you tighten them down, they don't move left or right. They stay right in place. Same thing with a hard stop. So if we roll this down, you see that they have a hard stop that's adjustable. See that? Yep. So you can see you also have different mounting option holes, and it's in a groove as well. So when you tighten it down, it doesn't cant. The thumb wheel, they changed, and now it's got an over molded piece. As you can tell, it's very smooth up and down, since that's like the new evaluation of these things, of these slider sights. You have the blank. This is the blank tape right now, so you can mark this one up. It also comes with all the laser engraved tapes like they used previously, or the sticker tapes like they also had before with the landslide sights. You got your first and second adjustments. You got your third axis adjustment. This is the pro style mounting option, which is just dovetail. They have the bridge lock for Matthews, and they have the pick for several of the other manufacturers, or pick rail rather. So that is the sight I'm going to be going with. I walked into Eastern the other day, and Ryan had one more on the shelf that had this 3-pin, and it's perfect because this is how I had my bow set up previously. I had one that had the Ranger up pins, which were 2 vertical pins, and now I got one with 3 horizontal adjustable pins, which is how I like to do it. I can move this, with having 2 of the same company, I can always adjust. I can change out the scopes depending on what I'm doing. So if I want to take this bow and go do some 3D, I can put those Ranger up pins in there and use the top pin as, my normal yardage pin for like a single pin, like a single vertical pin for 3D. And these things, they do a great job of making these. They're threaded for a sunshade. I assume you could probably put like a 41 millimeter lens in here, or 31. I can't remember what the housing is. I think it's 41. I'm probably wrong. You can put it in the comments if you want to correct me. But that's all the features for this. It's a fantastic, I love the weight reduction on it, and it should mount great to the bow. And after I introduce the bow, we're actually going to go back, and I'm going to show you how I set this up using a bright sight tool. And then I put it in my bow vise, and then I put a string level on it, put a level on the sight, and then check the level on the sight housing. And that's the end of the setup until I go out and actually sight it in. So without further ado, let's bring out the bow. So this year for 2025, I was looking for something in that 33, 34 inch range. Something that would be good for going hunting. It'd be also very good for 3D. And in my past experiences with 3D, I found out that I really am good in that 33, 34 inch range. I've had some 36s and 37s, and I just didn't shoot them as well as I did the shorter axle to axle. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just weird. But that's just what I found out for myself. I've shot the lift axe. I shot the new Hoyts, the Bowtax, shot the Bear and the Elites and the Dartons. And I came to a conclusion on this bow. Last year, it was my runner-up for best draw. It was probably tied for first and how well it held and aimed on target. Post shot, I think it was second. I think I really didn't have any knocks on it. Last year, I think the Hoyt was the better choice for me last year, just because the Hoyt has such a great draw cycle and held on target so well. Plus, I was looking for a shorter bow. This year, I'm looking for a longer bow. And when I started comparing all those 32 to 34 inch bows, this is the bow that I was most excited to shoot again. I shot this thing for an hour when I was over at Eastern Outfitters, just pouring arrows down range. It's a 20-yard range. I had no sights, but on a standard Vegas target, I was able to keep them in the red for a majority of my groups, and it was very impressive. Just shooting off a whisker biscuit, like I said, no sight, no peeps, no whatsoever. And I knew at that point it was just so easy to draw, hold on target, and when you release the arrow, it was just going where I aimed. So for me, my choice for the 2025 bow is the Sequel 33 ST2 Folds of Honor Edition. I'm a sucker for these patriotic bows. I love the Hoyt American Heritages when I had those. I mean, this is a great looking bow. We'll go over some of the features that I really like about it. Starting off with the new tuning features. So I haven't, excuse me, I haven't really messed with these perfect tuning. I have messed with this perfect timing feature to get my cams in time, and it was amazingly fast to not have to take the cables off the cam and then twist it up, time it. I can make the adjustments from here, put it back on the draw board, draw it, check the timing, and then just keep making the adjustments. It was super quick. The other thing I liked about it is now they come with a second mod. So you have a speed mod to come with these. You also have a let-off mod, so you can go from 75 to 85, I think it is. You can check me on that as well. These things did a great job on the new bow stands. They're actually threaded into the lower limb pocket, and they fold up and out of your way. I like these better than the Elites and the Hoyts. They have the little thumb thing on them, because last thing I want to do is be messing with a little thumb nut, trying to get it, or wing nut, or whatever you call it, getting it out of my way if I want to do that. But for me, that's about perfect. So, and as you can tell, you got a back bar bushing. It comes with a vibration dampener in the lower hole. In this configuration, I put my stabilizer in this lower hole so that I can rest it on the stabilizer and the two bow legs, and it will keep the cam off the dirt. Let's see, it does have integrated and core mounts for the rest, although I did not go with this. I think this is the Hybrid Hunter Pro by Hamskea, and I chose to go with this. So if I decide I want to take my tuning a little bit further and do some torque tuning with the rest, and you can Google that. I think Paige Pierce has a great video on it. If you want to do that, you can use your rest to move in and out from the riser and do that. You lose that option with the integrated mount, so there's some weaknesses to that design of a riser. If you do the integrated, you do lose that ability. Although a lot of us don't do torque tuning, so I just wanted to make sure I kept that option open for me. Oh, one other thing I added to it, and obviously you don't have to do this, but CBE makes I think it's called the Vibe Check, and it's these vibe dampeners, but they come with these lights built into them, and it's a rechargeable light that you can just plug. You can take out of the bow and plug it into the wall. And like I said, you get two different lights. The green light, it's nice and bright, and it's a great option if like normally I go in, if I'm going deer hunting, I have a pack with my stand and my steps on it, and I have a headlamp on. But I've been in situations where I'm being a knucklehead and I forget about my headlamp, and these things have been lifesavers for me, and it was particularly turkey hunting. So having that green lamp, being able to hold it in my hand and just point it down towards the ground, it was nice. And I didn't have a broadcast light up in the trees, but I was able to see where I was walking and still hold decoys. And I had a blind with me, so on my back, so I had my hands full, and I was able to have light even though I forgot my headlamp. It's a nice backup feature. That's what I'm going to be shooting this year, to be a Hoyt RX8 and bottoms land. It's that's a 31-inch axle bow, and then this Darton Sequel 33 which is a little bit longer than 33. I think it's 33 and 3/16. I might be wrong. You can fact check that one as well, but it's a touch longer than 33, and it's a little bit longer than 6-inch brace height. It's a solid bow, just absolutely great draw, great hold, and it just, when I do my part as a shooter, the arrows are going exactly where the pins are at, and couldn't be happier with this bow. And if you're interested in any of these products, the Conquest stabilizer, the Conquest back bar mount, the Hamskea, the driver, the Hamskea peep, the bow itself, the bow stand, all of this came from Eastern Outfitters. The Rampage arrows that I'm going to be shooting through it came from Eastern Outfitters. The G5 T2 broadheads and the QAD Exodus broadhead, they all stuff you can find at Eastern Outfitters. And he's got a plethora of things that you can sort through in different configurations. You can build your bow. You don't have to do it like I do. This is my recommendation for 2025's bow, but it may not fit you. Just like none of my arrow build profile, which is around 420 to 430 grains with a 2-inch mechanical. I mean, it may not be your cup of tea. So they got plenty of fixed blade. They got plenty of mechanical. They even got the Beast broadhead in this year. So if you're interested, go see Ryan. Man, the guy is a great ambassador to our sport, and he goes out of his way to help his customers. You can't ask for a better friend or better bow tech. So with that being said, enjoy me setting this thing up and showing you how I set up my sight. All right, so this is a bright sight setup tool, and this is how I set up to make sure my scope housing is level to everything's leveled out. So you put this in here. You see our level bubble is level. So we're going to loosen this up. I think. Now we got it pointed in the upright position. You can tell the level bubble's still in level. We're still in level down here. Now we'll turn it down to the down position. And I know you can't see it, but this level bubble is level. This is level. So we are good. And like I said, this is a rough start how we're going to set this thing up. Stay tuned. We'll get this thing put on the bow. All right. I'm going to do the best I can to give you an idea of the bow setup as far as this sight. So as you can tell, I got level on my string and we're in the bubble. We are in the bubble on the first axis. We are on the bubble on the scope housing. So we should be pretty close to where we want to be. So as usual, thanks to Eastern Outfitters. God bless, happy hunting, shoot straight, and stay safe.